Hi ladies or gentlemen.
Hi guys.
Hello people.
Hi folks. Hey guys, how are you? Good morning. Welcome to another episode of Morning Tea. Today's tea is green tea. Today's breakfast is something a little fancy that I made up, but I was feeling nostalgic for New York City after hearing all of the build up to
Juno 2015.
the big blizzard of 2015. I made myself a sort of New York tradition. Usually it's bacon and egg. That's what you get. You get a bacon and egg bagel sandwich in the morning. Costs like $2, depending on where you go. $2.75 if you're in a fancy neighborhood. So I just did egg, tomato, pepper jack cheese on a whole wheat bun. So one thing that I find is interesting in a news story is the actor Benedict Cumberbatch. He is the actor from Sherlock, BBC's Sherlock. He's also in Imitation Game, and I think he's been nominated as Best Actor for the Academy Awards. Anywho, so in an interview with Tavis Smiley, they were talking about racial diversity in British cinema and the fact that a lot of British actors, black, get their break here in the States. The most recent one is David Ayalawa. I'm sure I'm butchering his name, but he's the gentleman who played Martin Luther King in Selma. And before that, we had Idris Elba. And girls, if you don't know who Idris Elba is, you need to Google that. So on the show, he said, while he was talking to Tavis Smiley about this topic, he says, I think as far as colored actors go, it gets really difficult in the UK, and I think a lot of my friends have had more opportunity here in the US than in the UK, and that's something we need to change. What do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about him using the word colored? I personally don't have an issue with it. I just personally don't have an issue with it. I feel like there is an intent. Like, yes, there are words you can't say. Like, you're not allowed to call me the N-I-G-G-E-R word. You're not allowed to call me that. But I don't know, like, and I think it depends on who says it. I think it depends on what context it says it. I'm not gonna accept any old person calling me colored. And to me, it doesn't have a negative tone behind it. I feel like Negro might be a little bit more offensive, but to me, colored isn't. But also, I guess it depends on who says it and how they say it. But in this, to me, I wouldn't have taken offense. And someone on Twitter went on to say, Benedict Cumberbatch used the term colored to describe black actors. What year are we in? I get it. I get why somebody would be upset. I really think it's the context in which it's being said, and it's talking about an issue when it specifically pertains to people of color on television. What if he said people of color? I feel like he's talking about all people of color, but I think it depends on the context in which the word is used. And when you're talking about people of color in a general sense, then it's fine to say colored people. I personally didn't take offense to that, and neither did Tavis Smiley. I know that we want the world to be more PC, and we want people to watch how they refer to people of color or to black people, and we want to try to check that. But I also think we have to be willing to educate, say, in a non-confrontational manner. We have to be able to discern whether or not what they are saying is negative or meant to be negative, and go from there. So anyways, let me know your thoughts about that. I know I'm pretty liberal with that stuff. I'm not saying that if he had said Negro, I wouldn't have been like, Negro, why do you use Negro? But comment below and let me know what you think about him using the word colored, or anybody using the word colored. I think I'm way more liberal with that than a lot of people. I watched With This Ring, but it's a movie starring Regina Hall, Jill Scott, and Eve, who apparently now is going by Eve Cooper underneath her acting name. Whatever, girl. You know what, let me first off just start off by saying that it bothers me when people who already are celebrities in another field cross over into acting. And it's not their fault, and I'm not mad at them.
I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the dirt.
I'm mad at the fact that Hollywood will put a known name in a movie simply because they're a known name and deny actors, like people who have worked hard on their craft in order to sell the movie. Deny the actors, people who've, like, you know, put time and energy into this thing that they want to do, and they don't get those roles because they get given to celebrities. And I'm not sure if that happens in the white community as much, but it totally happens in the black community. It happens so much and it bothers me because it's not fair. It's not fair that Eve gets to be in a movie that's on Lifetime and get money when she's not even good as the other two people. Like, and the thing is though, everyone's like, I know you're thinking, what about Jill Scott? However, Jill Scott is really good. Like, Jill Scott carried her own HBO series, not her own UPN show where she had other people. She carried her own HBO series in which she played an African woman. So she had a completely different dialect. Like, Jill Scott is actually really good. If the musician or the athlete or the whatever they have the other thing that they do, if they're really good in the roles, acting wise, I can 100% appreciate it. Anyways, I'm digressing. The movie itself was good. Outfits were fly. I feel like I always look at outfits. I feel like the outfits were so fly. Jill Scott looked amazing. Like, she looked so good in every scene. Her makeup was on point. The way they dressed her, I mean, she was just so, like, I just love Jill Scott. One of them tries to find somebody completely out of the blue. The other one starts to find somebody completely out of the blue, but then starts to like lean towards the father of her son. And the other one is trying to get her boyfriend to leave his wife for her. I just thought it was a cute movie. The only thing that I had kind of an issue with, well, it's a big kind of thing, is the fact that the whole entire movie is about them getting married in a year. And you guys know how I feel about that. You know, I'm gonna link that video down below. I get what happens to women when you see the 17th engagement on your Facebook feed. I have friends from so many different age groups that, you know, the 25-year-olds are getting married, the 27-year-olds are getting married, and the like 33-year-olds are getting married, and I'm not even close to getting married. So I get the feeling of like when your friends go from being like regular people to bridezillas and everything on their Facebook is bride stuff.
Engaged!
You're getting married. Like, I don't care about your engagement. I feel like the overarching theme of just marrying someone to be married is so crazy. Like, I understand the desire to be in a relationship and to find meaningful love in your life, but for the outcome of that to be marriage, that's when it like fell over for me. I don't agree with that, but I agree with everything on the road. I agree with the dating and the trying to make it work with the father of your son and whatnot. But like, I don't agree with the trying to get your boyfriend to divorce his wife. Like, I feel like I feel like know your place, you know what I'm saying? Don't try to get anybody to break up with their significant other for your relationship. Like, that's not the man you want anyway. I mean, I feel for these women for wanting to find love, but finding love and getting married are two completely separate things. But otherwise, Jill's perfection, you guys should watch it for Jill's perfection, just to see everything about Jill Scott. So lastly, the thing that I want to talk about, which I'm going to have a whole other video about it, but I want to talk about education a little bit. I think I'm going to talk about education and finance maybe in another video, but just to touch on it a little bit to give you guys a precursor on what I want to say about it. I don't understand how there are people who don't see it as their job to make sure that their kids know how to read. I have several friends and family members who are teachers. I was really shocked at the amount of kids who don't know how to read. And it could be a number of issues. It could be dyslexia. It could, they can't see, they can't see and so they zone out. People, we need to be more responsible. We need to set our kids up success, not to fail. We need to set them up so that they have things that are required. You know, if you don't have internet connection, which I'm not talking about any of you guys, because clearly you have it somewhere. But I mean, if you don't have internet connection in your home running all the time, like if it's like a chore, like I don't understand. How come your kids don't have a computer? I mean, I guess I do kind of understand, like maybe you don't have the money for it, but they're not expensive now. You can get like a Dell computer or something for like $400. And I mean, unless you're in a completely different situation that I have no like concept of, $400 is a lot of money to spend on something like that, but it's necessary. That's what I guess what I'm getting to. I feel like computers are necessary. Unless you're like dedicated to taking them to the library and making sure that they get online and figure out and do their homework and figure all that out. Like unless you're willing to do that as opposed to buying a computer, then I can see that. But because I don't want to like peg hole and judge parents because I don't know people's situations, but I guess I'm somebody who's of the mindset that if you cannot afford kids, you should not have them. And I feel like a part of now having kids and affording them is being able to have a computer in the home, period. This is a really touchy subject because I don't want to offend anybody and I don't want to pass judgment and I don't want to make ignorant comments, which I know I will, but I just have to express this. Like, I don't understand. And I would like to get some understanding if there are people out there who are like, no, that's not what happens. Like, not everybody can afford a computer. Explain to me like what that is and why it's okay. Why is that okay? I feel like we're not setting our children up. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that as a culture and as a society that we don't teach our kids. I think it has a lot to do with the parent and whatever it is that they see their role as parent. Maybe they don't see themselves as being educators, and I get that, but you need to participate. How do you know? Like, you can't just send your kid to school and hope that everything's going to be okay. Like, you need to actively participate in your child's rearing as far as education goes and setting them up to go into the real world, right? Isn't that what we all want? We want our kids to do better than us. So we should set them up so that they can. And then if they don't, then you can say that you did all you did. You did all you could. Topics for today. That was morning tea. Please answer these questions. What do you think about Benedict Cumberbatch using the word colored? What did you think about with this ring? Did you think it was a good movie? What do you think about marriage and love and whatever and whatnot? And what do you think about the educational system? What do you think about parents not actively being involved in their kids learning basic skills in order to survive in this world? That's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Have a fantastic day.